right, it says private group, it says I'm streaming, it says live. I just flipped my script. Now it says Howie. Yeah, that did it. Whatever that was, that did it, because now I'm good. Yep, I see 13 people are on here already. I see you're watching. Yep, I'm going to bring you on right now. Whatever you did, Howie, that was it. We're good. Yep, I don't know why that has anything to do with it, because I've streamed before on there as not an admin, but whatever. We're good. We're good. Now let's see if Mrs. Germain is on here. She is. Nikki, sending you invite to add. Just hit yes like we normally do.
Okay, you're gonna get
Hello,
me.
hello,
You
hello.
got me right now.
I know.
But I'm going
You're good.
away.
Goodbye.
Okay, Garry. Do you think that's good? It's pretty bright. You can sit back a little bit. Yeah, you can go ahead and sit down. Go ahead. Let me know if you want anything. Got some water here. Okay, there you go. Say hi. It's Ryan and Howie.
Hi, Garry.
Oh, hello.
How are you, sir?
I'm well, thank you.
Good to hear.
The light is a little bit bright in my eyes here. I have to stare into the light to see you.
I'm going to try turning that light off and see if it helps. Give me just a second, because it's pretty bright. Let me see if I can do something else here.
What, you got the sunlight streaking through the windows there?
It's it's our little gizmo, but it's too bright. Let me see if I can see what happens if I turn it off. How's that?
It's fine.
That works. It's better for him, I know.
Oh, it's much better.
Yeah, very
So yes, hello, how are you?
Hi, Garry.
Who's whom?
Hello.
Who's who?
I'm Ryan.
Oh, Ryan.
That's Howie.
And that's Howie.
And that's Howard.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's me in the bottom right. And it's okay. I guess all kinds of stuff going on already.
Yes, we've got people watching. People can comment at any time, which you don't need to worry about.
We're already on. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm just so we like to come in a little bit early so people can start kind of trickling in. How was the weather in Nashville today?
Today was cloudy. Nice though. I'll take cloudy.
Take cloudy over what you had a couple weeks ago.
As long as it's warm.
As long as it's not a tornado.
Yeah, so you'll take that over a tornado anytime.
Oh, you know about tornadoes, huh?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, they're bad.
I'm glad that things came out. They could have been a lot worse.
That's true. That's the truth.
Garry, I know that you were just recently at the Dwayne Eddy tribute, correct?
You're right. Yeah, that was just last Sunday.
How did that go?
It was great. It was great. I had a very, very small part to do in it, but it went off without a hitch. It was good to see. I saw a lot of old friends that I hadn't seen in a while between the rehearsals and the actual show. It's great.
I was looking for some videos. The only thing I could find out there was Peter Frampton doing he was doing Rebel Rouser. Was Peter Frampton there?
Say it again?
Was Peter Frampton there?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, he was the show closer.
I tried to find some videos so I could see what was going on that night, and the only thing I could find was a 2-minute snippet of him doing Rebel Rouser.
Okay.
So what part did you just play on, one song or a couple songs, or?
I played on 3 songs with Albert Lee. And I played guitar on a tune that Joe Bonamassa did. So 4 songs, and I was done.
Was
And I introduced Albert Lee.
Albert Lee, did he used to play in David Letterman's band? Am I thinking of the right person?
No,
No.
not in David Letterman's.
Okay.
He played in Emmylou Harris's band
Okay.
and the Everly Brothers band and a few others. Head, Hands, and Feet, I guess, was his band.
That's quite the resume there.
Yeah, he did all right.
Howie, are you back?
I am back. Sorry, technical difficulties,
You're
but
good.
good. Welcome, Gary. Thank you for doing this for us.
Hey.
Great to see you.
Just let me know when I have to start being charming.
From the minute you came on the screen,
the signal. We'll give you the signal.
Okay.
it's automatic.
I'm sorry, Gary. Was Steve Earle there last weekend?
He was.
Steve's one of my guys. I've listened to every Steve Earle album, bought every Steve Earle album since Guitar Town when I was 12 years old, 14 years old.
Is that right? I'm a fan as well. He's a pal.
Well, obviously, you worked with him a little bit, right? You produced some of his stuff.
Did I produced one thing, one Christmas cut. No, anyway, yeah, I did some work with him back in the 80s, I guess that was. Or 90s, I guess. Early 90s.
Well, he pays. I listened to an interview he did about the Darkness album when the box set came out, and he said that he was really having a hard time with his contracts, recording quality stuff, and he and a friend went to see Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, including yourself, obviously, on the Born in the USA tour in Tennessee. And he said it was like a light switch went off. He had been struggling, and he said when he watched the show that night, it was the first time that he had ever seen an artist that like anchored the album with the song, and the song anchored the tour and the show. And he went home and like put together Guitar Town pretty quickly after that.
Wow, I never heard that story before. I thought I heard all Steve's stories by now.
Well, Steve does like to talk, so you're going to hear them all if you're around.
I've heard several, but I missed out on that one.
Well, he's had a hell of a life. I know that.
He has that. He's come a long way.
Well, and
he's done
a lot.
An awful lot of things too.
He's done an awful lot of things. He's worked with a ton of people, and I love the fact that he started Outlaw Country. Well, he's part of Outlaw with Steve, but the fact that he wanted to do Outlaw Country and get all these country musicians out there that weren't getting played elsewhere is fantastic.
Great.
All right, so let's start it up. I'm just going to do a little introduction and to the group. I want to welcome everyone to another edition to the Spring Nut Cafe. This was a huge, huge surprise and such an honor. I can't begin to say, when I found out that, Garry was going to be on the show, it was just mind-blowing how this show has been evolving. And we had Anthony and Curtis and Ozzy last week, and that was fantastic. But to have Garry on the show is definitely the pinnacle for us. And I want to thank you, Garry, for doing this. And I welcome everyone to the Spring Nut Cafe. And from that, I'm going to hand it over to Ryan, and he will take over the reins.
Garry, again, we appreciate you taking your time. I don't know if you're a busy man, but I know you do a lot of things, so we appreciate you taking the time to join us for a little bit.
Well, I'm a busy man. I feel like this is the calm before the storm.
I was gonna say, you got to enjoy your time now before what, less than a month from now?
Oh yeah, just a couple weeks, a little more than a couple weeks.
Garry, obviously we know who you are. I want to ask you several questions about non-E Street band stuff. I'm sure you get tired of answering those questions. So I'm going to try to ask you some questions about other things besides just Bruce and the band, if that's okay with you.
Depends on what the questions are, I suppose.
Yes, and feel free to if you just put your hand up, that means I'm not answering that question at any time.
I can always plead the Fifth Amendment.
You
Right.
can. So just like we did with the other guys, I'd just like to, I think people think they know you to some degree. If you've read the book, if you've been around at all, if you've read Bruce's book, you think you know who the band members are, but I don't think we really know who you are. So as much as you'd like to, I'd just like to find out, like, where were you born? Where were you raised? Just kind of your early life.
My life story, huh? You're liable to lose some listeners now.
From the top.
I was born in a ditch. No, I was born in Detroit, Michigan, 1949,
Really?
October
Detroit.
27th. Good time to be born. Um, I lived there until I was about 6 or 7, and moved. Well, I think we first went down to see my grandfather's funeral. I can't remember. I was very young back then.
See, I had no idea that you were born in Detroit. I thought you were. I knew you were an East Coast guy, but I thought you were East Coast all the way. I had no idea you were born in Detroit.
No, well, actually, from Detroit we moved down south. I'm trying to figure out when we moved down south, but we moved in with my grandmothers for one summer. One in Tennessee and one in Georgia,
Hmm.
and then wound up living in Virginia for a couple of years, and then from there moved to Delaware and lived there for about 4 years, and I moved to Jersey in 1964. I was 14 years old.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's and that was the same year, of course, that the Beatles hit the airwaves real hard. And so I guess I being new in New Jersey, the best way to meet other people was to start a band. So I started many bands.
Well, so can you remember, like, when is the first time that you actually played an instrument? Was it in school? Was it at home? When did you first pick up an instrument? And what was that instrument?
Well, in school, they handed me a flute in the 4th grade. I played flute I guess, for a few months. And then I switched to clarinet. And then I switched to violin.
Hmm.
So this is all in maybe a year, because I only spent 4th grade in that school. I changed school so many times, it's kind of hard to remember what was what.
It sounds
Wow.
like it. I didn't realize that you had moved around that much.
Oh yeah, that's part of my story.
Traveling man.
That's
So you started out with the clarinet, the flute, the violin, and then you progressed into tuba at some point in time?
well, I'm not sure how that all happened. My mother played a little guitar,
Hmm.
and a regular sized guitar, but she played it only a little bit.
Wow.
Applause. Marty.
Thank you. I'll be here all night. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, she played some guitar, and I was fascinated by that. And I guess like for one Christmas when I was 9 or 10, I got a guitar for Christmas. So that was kind of and around the same time, fourth grade, fifth grade, sometime in there where I had a guitar on top of playing the violin at that point. I had a guitar. So the school music teacher would show me some things on guitar. And my mother would show me some things also. So that's how that got started.
Can you read sheet music? Like, I'm sure if you're playing violin, clarinet, you can read sheet music, or were you learning by ear? How did you learn?
Well, it turned out I was learning by ear because I was just dyslexic enough that the notes kind of danced around on the page, and I couldn't really read music. So I never really no I don't read music. I was taught how, and I can sit there and figure it out, but sight reading just will never happen. I wish I could. It would be a good tool, but no reading for me.
Well, I guess a question for me is I'm a non-musician. I love music. I love listening to music. I love going to live music, but I can't read sheet music. I can't play anything. I can play a siren whistle that I have on my desk. That's about it. I've seen some videos of you and the guys in the studio with Bruce when you're rehearsing before you record. And like I can see Max is like writing down like little, I don't know what he's writing down, like little cliff notes. Like what are they writing down? What do you write anything down when you go in to rehearse
For rehearsals,
for recording? For like if you go into
for
the studio
recording,
and you're gonna record.
yeah, I'll write down any notes that I can glean before the tape runs. Sure. If I can write out a whole chord sheet, I get a chance to do that, I'll do that.
So you're writing out
So,
chord sheets.
yeah, I'm just writing out the Nashville number system. Just kind of, if it's a simple song, it works every time. It's just giving chord names numbers, and it's a system that works pretty good.
Got it.
But
Um, go ahead.
but yeah, if there's a chance to take notes, absolutely, I'll do it every time.
So how
So
did you switch
you
from? I'm
right.
sorry. So how did you switch from guitar to bass in the end?
I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry. How did when? So how did you? If you said that you got into the guitar, but then you switched to bass at one point.
Yeah. Well, well, I actually by that time I switched to tuba
Oh.
also. I started playing first the euphonium and then the E flat tuba, and so I kind of played the guitar. I played the tuba with the Salvation Army band, and um, the bass didn't really come until later. Well, even when I lived in Delaware, I would tune for certain songs. I would tune down certain strings on the guitar, the two low strings, tune them down to emulate the bass, and played that way. But I didn't switch to bass until we had a battle of the bands. This is around '65 or so. This is in Jersey, and we came in second, and I wanted to be in the band that came in first. So I went and talked to them, and they said, "Well, we'll have you if you want to switch to bass." I said, "Well, I don't own a bass or an amplifier, but sure, I'm in." They said, "Okay, we just won't tell the other guy he's fired, and you can just use his equipment." So that's how I became a bass player.
When so at that time, Gary, in '65, when you first started playing the bass, was it an upright or was it an electric bass?
It was an
Okay.
electric bass. Yeah.
So you never. It's not like you started on an upright and then worked your way up to the electric. You've always been playing a electric bass.
I played upright bass in a high school dance band. I don't know if that counts as anything,
It
But
counts. I would say
yeah,
that it counts.
Not many
I
people can
played
pull that
upright.
off.
Yeah, I used to wrestle the beast back then. I try not to wrestle it
Mm.
anymore.
One of the I'm a huge Elvis fan. I'm an original. I was lucky enough. My dad passed away last year at the age of 81, so he grew up in the 50s. So I'm a huge Elvis fan. Chuck Berry, Little Richard, like all the originals. One of my favorite stories about Elvis and Bill Black was Bill played an upright bass, and when they went to go record Jailhouse Rock, they had just come out with an electric bass, and Bill walks into the studio thinking he's playing his normal bass, and they hand him a electric, and they're playing. Uh, it's a very complicated bass start to the song. Baby, you're so square, I don't care. And Bill's trying it, and he gets mad and he gets pissed off and he throws it down. And Elvis just laughed and he walked over. And people think Elvis couldn't play anything besides the guitar, but he could play the piano. He could play the guitar, obviously. But he went over and picked up the bass, and that's actually Elvis Presley playing the bass on the intro to "Baby You're So Square."
Yep, that's a pretty funny story. He just threw the damn thing down. Elvis picked it up and it goes like this. Come back, Bill.
So you went to school eventually after all your travels, you went from Detroit, Tennessee, Georgia, Maryland. You wind up in Neptune and you graduated from Neptune High School, correct?
That's correct. 1967.
So while you were in high school, you were playing in the high school band, and were you also playing in your own bands outside of school?
Yeah, yeah. We played. That got me in a lot of trouble because I usually didn't finish playing the gig until like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had to be in school the next morning.
Yeah.
Well, can you give us
I
a
missed 3
little?
days of school.
Can you give us a little bit of info as far as the early bands that you started? Were these just bands that you started with people in the neighborhood? Kind of give us a little bit of background on your early bands that you started with.
Uh, well, I guess the first first band I started was just for Neptune High School was having a talent show, and I was teaching a friend of mine, Barry. Uh, I was giving him guitar lessons, which is kind of funny, but yeah. So Tuesday nights was our night. I gave him guitar lessons, and so uh, he he knew a drummer. I guess that was it. Just the three of us, I guess, and we started the band. I don't think we ever played. Not in
Just
front
a
of
garage
people.
band.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Uh, and then, yeah, then that band kind of morphed into another band in high school, and how those things go. And eventually, we had a band called The Moment of Truth, which went from high school band to playing the notorious circuit in Asbury Park, and that was in summer of '67.
So when did you I mean, you started playing Asbury Park around 67. That's when you started getting into the Jersey scene as far as music is concerned.
Yeah, out of the high school, yeah.
Did you have like any bassists that were influences on you growing up?
Well, sure. I mean, obviously, all the all the guys from the early uh, '60s, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, they all had cool bass players. Uh, the Animals.
Mm.
Um, but actually, by the time I became a little more serious about playing bass, because I had gone back to playing guitar for a while, I was back and forth between. Well, I would play a gig, whatever the gig was.
Hmm.
I played gigs as a drummer. So it, when I got serious about bass, the band, The Moment of Truth, we opened in Convention Hall for Vanilla Fudge.
Mm.
So
Wow.
they kind of became my go-to band, and I thought that Tim Bogert was a terrific bass player, and he was.
Mhm.
And I just kind of got hold of their records and tried to learn bass by emulating him.
Yeah, I compare you a lot to my other favorite bass player, and it would be John Entwistle from The Who. But your styles are very similar to me, and I mean, you know, that's the one when I jumped from The Who and to the Springsteen, and I got involved with the East Street Band, and so I instantly saw a similarity to the way you play to the way John Entwistle plays. But that's just, you know, me not knowing things. But those are my two favorite bassists, was you and John Entwistle, and Geddy Lee from Rush.
I'm quite humbled to be in that kind of company. I'm just kind of a strummer, you know.
Nah, you're not.
Oh,
I'm
stop
more
it.
like the
Stop
Nah,
it.
you're not a
bass,
strummer.
the bass player in the Partridge Family. Yeah, he's my idol.
I don't see that. I don't think anyone sees that.
So Gary, one question I wanted to ask you about was you used to play with a band called Norman Selden and the Noise. Is that correct? Am I remembering that correctly?
Uh, yeah, that's incorrect. I never played with the noise, the joyful noise.
Joyful Noise. That's what it is.
No, I never actually played with that band.
Okay.
I
Then
played with Norman Selden. We kind of had like a jazz trio or quartet, depending on who showed up that night. Where Clarence played, Tal Farlow played sometimes, and Max played drums sometimes. But yeah, that was Norman Selden on piano. But
okay.
that wasn't the joyful noise. That
Okay.
was Clarence's. Clarence came out of that band.
So speaking of Clarence, like, what was your first interactions with Clarence, and if you could just describe that a little bit for us?
Well, I met Clarence. I was playing in a little band called Little Melvin and the Invaders, and I had been playing with them for a couple of months, I suppose. And it was just a weekend gig, or maybe 3 nights a week, for 20 cents, which meant $20. But Melvin was, well, you have to know Melvin. I met him. Um, he was the drummer in a previous band. He was his marijuana salesman. I don't know, drug dealer, whatever you want to call him. But that's how I met him. But he was actually a musician too. Um, so anyway, I started playing bass with Little Melvin and the Invaders. And one night, Clarence showed up as a sub for the sax player. And we kind of hit it off right away. Well, everybody hits it off when they met Clarence. He's your best friend immediately. So we became best friends that night.
Yeah.
About what year was that, Gary? 68, 69, 70?
71, probably.
71. Okay.
71. That sounds about right.
And what about
It wasn't until later he after that he joined Norman Selden's Joyful Noise.
that's what it
And
was.
that's who he was playing with when he came to jam with our band.
And so amongst the circuit there in Asbury, were you playing up and down the shore, or were you playing primarily just in Asbury?
I was playing. Well, we played up and down the shore, but mostly Asbury. We we, we spent a whole summer, 5 nights a week, in one place called the Student Prince. It's a small bar right on Kingsley.
Which is now Porta, from if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, now it's an Italian restaurant.
Porta. Favorite
Yeah.
pizza in the whole world. So Gary, you were probably then the first E Street Band member, I guess, to form a relationship with Clarence. All these guys are kind of spinning around in this circuit. When did you first meet Southside, and how did you meet Southside?
Well, we went to high school together.
Oh,
So
okay, I didn't know that.
I'm not really sure when we actually met, but yeah, we went to high school
Oh
together, and we
my,
worked at the Dan Electro factory together even after high school. So yeah, I knew John. Well, I sold him. I worked for a music store there in Neptune, and John came in with his father to buy a bass and an amplifier, and I sold him both. And within a couple of weeks, I found him in school, asked him to borrow it, and he actually lent it to me actually, and I returned it broken. So yeah, that's what you call a real pal. I mean, meaning me, of course.
so while you're going to high school, you're going to school, you're in the school band, you're playing in these other bands till 3 o'clock in the morning on school nights. My parents would have killed me. Uh, you're also working in the Dana Electric factory.
That was after high school.
Okay,
Yeah, that
okay.
was '68. It wasn't until after working. Dan Lecture was my last factory gig. I decided I would play any kind of music at all, rather than working in a factory again. So when I quit Dan Lecture, I went to uh, John Shaw, the drummer who ran the Jaywalkers, and asked him for a gig. I'll do anything. So he gave me a job playing rhythm guitar um, that night. And
Wow.
no more factory jobs for me.
Sounds like a
I
Springsteen
can't blame
song.
you. Gary, so I know Howard Stern asked you about this at the interview that you did when you were at the Howard Stern show last year. I just want to hear it for myself. If do you have memory or just from memory, the first time you saw Bruce at the upstage?
Yeah, well, Danny Federici invited me down to hear this new guy that he heard the week before at the Upstage Club. I, I was gigging somewhere else, I guess probably at Student Prince. Um, but anyway, I went down there and heard him. I thought he was great, and told Danny so. And Danny and Vinny wound up starting a band with him. That was probably 69, maybe 70.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think Howard said to you, "Is it true that you didn't like Bruce when you first saw him?" So there's a little bit of discrepancy between Bruce's version of this and your version of this.
Yeah, we straightened that all out.
Yeah, I think so. That's good. Thank you for that, by the
Thing,
way.
things worked out eventually.
Yeah, we figured that all out. Nobody hated anybody. Just healthy competition. That's all.
All right, Gary. Again, I'm a huge original rock and roll guy. Chuck Berry's one of my favorites. Chuck could be very prickly to work with, and for the right reason. He got screwed over so many times back in the 50s and 60s when he was working. Uh, do you have recollections of the show that you guys did with Chuck back in 73, 74, I believe, Maryland?
Recollections of it. Sure, I remember.
Okay,
I remember it well.
please share. I'm all ears.
Oh, well, it's almost a standard Chuck Berry story. I mean, he was notorious for showing up 5 minutes before it was time for him to go on. And he did that right on cue. 5 minutes before it was time to go on, he walked in all by himself, carrying a guitar case, and he calls the promoter into the back room and has a little discussion with him about money, no doubt. And so yeah, we went on with no rehearsal, no nothing. That was typical. He expected everybody to know Chuck Berry songs, and we did. Unfortunately, nobody knew what key he was going to do them in, and he wasn't going to tell anybody either. But at least I knew the records well enough to know that they weren't in the standard guitar keys. They're mostly in B flat, and E flat, mostly like horn keys. So at least I knew to look, not to overlook the weird keys that guitar players aren't used to playing in. So we were able to figure it out pretty quickly and dodged a few bullets that night. I think he wound up liking us. It's hard to tell with him, but he didn't ask for extra money or anything. So I think we did all right by him.
That was a story that I've heard about Chuck. He would show up with his guitar. He would fly by himself with his guitar. And the deal with the promoter was he walked in, he got X amount of dollars in cash in a bag. He wasn't going to be taken advantage of anymore. And the promoter was in charge of getting the local band to back him up. And if he liked you, you got a cut of his take that night.
Yeah, we didn't get paid for it. Actually, what happened was we were booked to do the show, the opening before Jerry Lee Lewis, and they were looking for a band to back Chuck Berry, and that's when I spoke up. I said, "We're already there, we'll back up Chuck." So that's how
Nice.
it came about.
Well, you must have passed the test because 20 some years later at the Hall of Fame in '95, you got to play again with them.
Yeah, he was a hard man to know.
Imagine.
If I'm ever in a bad mood, about once or twice a year, I will watch the version of Johnny B. Good from the '95 show at the Hall of Fame with you guys playing in the background. And the way the camera is, all I can see is Max right behind Chuck. And Max is just grinning from ear to ear like he's a little kid in a candy store. So that's got to be quite an experience for you to play behind Chuck 20 years in between the bookends.
I guess it was that long, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was 95, so that was what, 22 years in between.
My.
No.
Okay, so we get into obviously the early '70s, and we know what happens. Can you talk about when you made the transition from? How did you make the transition to moving to Nashville? How did you make the transition from moving from the East Coast to Nashville? What was the impetus for that?
Well, I was working in New Jersey with mainly with Steve Forbert, who was living in Nashville, and I had friends that had moved from Virginia down to Nashville. And it just seemed like a cool place to be, and I visited in November and moved down here in February. But that was the time of the breakup of the band and all that. So it just seemed like an obvious next step for me.
And had
So,
you so when you moved to Nashville, you built your own studio and you started the record label, correct?
correct.
Had you been
Two not very
producing
smart moves. I'm sorry, what?
had you been producing other artists when you were still living in the New Jersey area?
Yeah, well, that's where I had a studio in Long Branch, New Jersey. and I did Evan John's album there. I did the Steve Forbert La Bamba soundtrack there, and I did quite a few things there. Worked with a lot of local artists there, but it's time for a change. I thought Nashville seemed like it was ready for rock and roll. Was kind of dead in New York. Everybody was working with computers, and I didn't really work that way. In Nashville, they actually still did live sessions, and that appealed to me. So that's why I made the move.
Well, I can tell you that one of the things you produced that's one of my favorites is the Crying, Waiting, Hoping from Marshall Crenshaw as part of the La Bamba soundtrack. Phenomenal soundtrack, phenomenal movie, but Marshall Crenshaw's version was fantastic.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, that worked out really well. That got him the role in the movie by having that demo to play for the producers. I think that solidified his deal. That's all we were trying to do at the moment.
Well, it worked because he looked just like, because that's him in the movie, correct? That's Marshall playing
Yeah.
Buddy in the movie.
Yeah.
He looked like him, acted like him, sounded like him, and it was well produced.
So I have a
Okay, Sonny, go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead, Howie.
I have a question, but during that time. So before, obviously you've been with Bruce and the band for all those years, and like everybody else, and I've, read Clarence's book, and I've, obviously read Bruce's book, and even Stevie's book, that discussed it. What was your feelings when, Bruce decided, and, after the Tunnel tour to break up the band? What was your feelings at that time? Was it like shock? Was it, maybe the right thing to do it, and then you needed the break and you wanted to do your own thing? What was your feelings at the time?
Well, I had already moved to Nashville by the time the official phone call came, where I was told that I wouldn't be needed in the future. So I was already in Nashville. I had already made plans on moving on because I was in agreement with him. It was about time for a change.
Okay. Yeah, that's I mean, it was like a shock to everybody else, but I know you've done some great solo stuff. We caught your shows in Asbury. I know the two albums that I know of is Break Time and More Like Me. Which they're you could feel that Nashville sound, and it was it was really great to see you up front. So I was like, oh, my next question was like, do you enjoy being the front man? Times
I enjoyed it.
You did,
I
and
enjoyed it. It was totally out of my comfort zone, but that's kind of why I wanted to do it in the first place. And I did enjoy it. It was kind of like being an actor, where you could actually pretend you're somebody else and just do that.
no, you seemed like a natural. I mean, it was really, really, cool, and those were really great shows. And there's a joke, because I know there's a song. I wonder who you wrote it. I don't know if you wrote it, but I'm assuming you wrote it. But there's a song called "Ants in Your Pants," and and I don't know if you wrote it, but every time, like, my daughter can't sit still, so every time I just tune it up when she can't control herself, and I'm like, "Ants in Your Pants," But it's actually a funny song. We laugh about it, so it's very cool. But I also like one of my two favorite songs that you put out on the solo albums is "I Love You, I Love Them All." That's also one of my favorites, and "Tell the Truth." I actually like that as well. You wrote all these songs, correct?
I wrote or co-wrote, yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
Well,
how did go ahead?
the first song I wrote with a fellow named Dave Devotion.
Mm.
The Ants in the Pants was his title. He came up with that. I have to give him credit on that.
Was it so? It's no one you know. It was something he came up. Okay. But when you decided to do your first album, and what was the experience like? In just recording and writing your own stuff.
Well, like I said before, it just kind of need to get out of my comfort zone
Mm-hmm.
and try something different. And that's all it was. No expectations of going solo.
Yeah,
And,
but you had fun.
and competing with East Street Band, that wasn't going to happen. It was just something I wanted to try, something I wanted to do, and had the money to spend at the time. And you can
Yeah.
spend a lot of money trying to be a rock star.
Yeah. Well, they were fun albums. They were fun shows to see as well. I know that. I know we enjoyed them. And I know you did a lot of work with the Delavantes as well. And, their music is fantastic, and maybe you could tell us how you got involved with them.
Well, the Levantes are a couple of brothers I met years ago in Nashville at a coincidentally Steve Rourke concert.
Mm.
Um, so where is it? Time to sell something here.
Okay.
Mike Delavanti has a new solo record. It's called September Days. Anybody should check it out. I'm playing bass on a bit of it, and we did a live show playing the album in sequence just last week. It went down real well, and I think it's a real good record. So
see, we had a great segue into that.
Gary, I've listened to the new song. The single is out now. The Rains Never Came. You played on that, correct?
yes, I did.
Great. It's a great song. Is the whole album out right now, or is it just the single so far?
Oh, I don't know the answer to that.
Okay,
I might
I
just
think
be
it's just a single.
pre-orders.
I think it's just a single because I
Okay.
looked at it earlier this morning. So yes, check it out. Mike Delavante. You can see Gary's work with the Delavantes in general. They put out several albums. Gary, I have to concur with Howie. I saw your first, I think it was your first opening show on the Break Time album tour. You were in Edwardsville, which is right outside of St. Louis, which is kind of like my home area, but small theater, like 200 seats maybe.
Sure.
But the band you had with you oh my God, they were fantastic. It sounded so good. You played band stuff, you played Cox Kids, you played some your own original material, but the band was just so good. It was phenomenal to hear that good of a band in a small, intimate theater.
Yeah, I was very fortunate that way. That good friends made a great band.
Well, speaking of the band, I know you played at least one show that I know of. There was a tribute to Jimmy Rogers at the Hall of Fame about 97, I think. And you and Max played with Levon Helm. Did you have any kind of relationship with Levon or anybody else in the band?
Oh yeah, I knew them. We were pals. Rick Danko was I got to know him probably best of all. Besides Levon, Levon he was another Clarence character. Once you knew him, you're friends for life, and that's just how it goes. That was on him, not on me.
Did you ever have a chance to go to the Big Pink or play in the barn or anything?
No, I never did the barn shows or anything like that. No,
Gotcha.
came close a couple times, but it never happened.
Okay, so from what I've seen you in a room being interviewed and some video of you being interviewed in a room that has many records. You're surrounded by vinyl on all walls. Can you tell us about your collection of vinyl music that you like to listen to. I'm assuming you prefer to listen to music on vinyl. Tell us some of the musicians that you like to listen to when you are by yourself.
Well, I collect mainly Memphis rockabilly, New Orleans rhythm and blues, and Chicago blues. That's what I try to just collect those things, narrow it down to something. Uh, but my taste in music is all over the place. You just can't collect everything. That's all. But I'm in the process of eliminating a lot of the records that either are just not in great condition or just very common, or just anytime I wanted to hear them, I can just dial up a Spotify. I mean, when I started collecting, I didn't know that they're going to have Spotify and all these streaming services where you can hear just about anything you can imagine by pushing a button.
I think we're all in the same boat. We've collected DVDs, CDs, cassettes.
Right?
No 8 tracks. I have no 8 tracks, but I've got it all. Yes, when we started buying CDs, I can't imagine the amount of money we all spent on CDs. That now it's all out there on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you want to listen to. It's all out there, and we spent thousands and thousands of dollars on CD collections.
Yeah. I've got thousands, probably thousands of CDs as well.
So here's a question for you.
At least
So
hundreds.
actually asked this question back in 2019. You were doing an interview with the Delavantes, and it was also a live stream. And I asked you the question, then you answered it. I was very surprised the answer, and I wanted to see if the answer holds now, even more so. Was it really at the time where Bruce had just come out with his book, and I was saying, would you be interested in writing your own autobiography and stories? Is that something that you still have in your bucket list?
Could be. It could happen.
Would love to hear it. Love to see it. That'd be great. And I know a good photographer that probably has some great photographs to go with the book. So I can recommend her if you want. I give you her number if in case you need me to make the connection. Really cool cat. Name's Nikki. She'll give you any photos you want.
I do a book just so I can publish my naked photo from when I was 1 year old.
Well, I hope you do the book, one day. I think it would be fantastic. I know for me personally, like I know that I like to put down my thoughts into writing. I'm better, and I definitely recollect them better when I'm writing them than trying to come up with them when I'm speaking with them. But I'm just curious to when you were part of the Born to Run and the Darkness era and whatever, so what was your recollection or your thoughts at the time with when Born to Run started to explode, and maybe the first two albums didn't really move so much, but then with Born to Run, now the band started to get its recognition and notoriety and people starting to notice. What was the feeling? Did you feel like you had a future with this band at this point?
Well, um, I can remember having felt like there was a future in the band a few times, probably even before Born to Run.
Mm.
But Born to Run, yeah, I remember it being shown to us a Billboard magazine, one of those, I guess it was Billboard, where it was number one album that week, and we were stranded in some God forbidden place in the Midwest, and it didn't feel like number one.
All right. Yeah, I can imagine. But then again, when we'll fast forward to I'm just speaking as a fan, and then seeing Born in USA, where everything just exploded, and
Yeah.
it was I mean I could see the different feel of where you guys started from, and in these bars and these dives and all these places that you've been playing, and now you're playing stadiums on a nightly basis. Was that like a shell shock for you guys? Was like a whole new feeling for you guys, for you personally as well?
Well, that really happened with Born in the USA.
Yeah.
When we went to Australia,
Mm-hmm.
and all the paparazzi met us there, and they were following us, and we had a whole mob meeting us at the airport. That was pretty amazing. That took me by surprise, of course.
And that's I mean, something again. Was it something that you ended up just being like something you loved, or something that you felt like, well, maybe it's too much? Because I know Bruce spoke in his book that he got bruised out during that tour. Did you get Garried out during that tour?
No, I mean, everybody's clawing after Bruce, and if they can't get to Bruce, they would have gone for Clarence. I'm way down the totem pole,
No,
Oh,
I
stop
don't
it.
think
which is okay by me.
Well, and I remember I met you, me and my wife Julie met you for the first time, and you were the only East Street member that I didn't get to meet yet, but I happened to meet you on the Asbury Park boardwalk, because we were going to the Hall of Fame where you were inducting, I think it was the Smithereens at the time.
Okay.
And we met you for the first time, and and who knew that later on, that you ended up coming to the Serenade, which was really something. To this day I thank you tremendously for, and for what you did, and being there for hours with Nikki. And I know that was a hell of a night, and I said, oh, this will be the last time I ever Garry even looks in my direction after this night. But but it was really something special, and I just wanted to make sure I got that out of the way, how appreciative we all were that you came that night and spent all that time engaging to all the people there, and signing the books and whatnot. So I just want to make sure I said that to you personally. Thank you so much for all that.
That was the place in Jersey you're talking about?
Yeah, and Reds, when you were playing MetLife Stadium,
Right.
yeah, and you did the book, Nikki did the book signing at Red's restaurant across the street from MetLife, and what would have been usually an hour thing turned out to be 4.5 hours, 5 hours. And then Ozzy and Anthony showed up as well, and it was just a momentous occasion for us, for you to be there. And I know it wasn't easy. And we greatly appreciate it. Oh,
Garry,
my
I
wife. I'm
wanted to
sorry.
ask.
One thing, my wife wants me to personally thank you. I'm sorry, Ryan, to interrupt,
No, you're good.
for
You're good.
the incredible bass line on Thundercrack, because that's her favorite song, and I want to sleep in my own bed tonight, so I must say this. So thank you, Garry, for that amazing bass
Thundercrack,
line on Thundercrack.
All right. Tell her I said thank you.
I will. She's on it, so she is.
Garry, I have a couple more questions for you, and then we'll take a couple of questions from the group, if that's okay. So I know one of the people that you worked with, I'm a Sun Studios guy. You worked with Sonny Burgess, and most people don't even know who the hell Sonny Burgess is. But for those of you that, if you like rockabilly, if you like Sun Studio, if you like Elvis, Johnny, Jerry Lee, Sonny Burgess is another one to check out. I think his first single was about 1956, and I think it was actually Redheaded Woman, if I'm not mistaken. But in the mid 90s, did you produce a whole album with Sonny? Did you just produce one or two songs?
No, I did the whole album.
Okay. Well,
Turned out
there's
to be
one. I just want to.
pretty cool album, actually, I think.
It's awesome. I just want to show you a bit of this, and then I just want to ask you a question.
He wrote the song called Fire Rose. And his name is Bruce Springsteen. Hey! song close to you. Just as long as it shows my love, any voice will do. Honey, I could make you happy if you'd only let me ever know. My wife, Tiger Rose. I went to work this morning on the local commute, that's right. Started back early and I just to do the window pane. There was a man eating from my refrigerator.
All right, so that's Sonny Burgess doing Tiger Rose, which was written by Mr. Bruce Springsteen. Garry, you're on stage there, and I'm pretty confident that that's DJ Fontana on drums, who was Elvis's original drummer. Is that Jerry Sheff playing the upright bass?
Was Jerry Chef there? Mike, uh, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I
Because
don't think so.
you're playing your double whatever, I don't know what you call it, but you're playing a bass that's got a double head on it, and Jerry, I think Jerry is playing an upright over here.
Yeah, I'm playing the tic tac bass.
Tic Tac.
Is that Jerry?
I believe that's Jerry. I'll send Nikki this video clip after we're done, just so you can take a look at it sometime. I'm just very curious. Just the fact that DJ Fontana was there, you're there, Bruce, Sonny Burgess, and maybe Jerry, if that's him. So for those of you that don't know Sonny Burgess, check his stuff out. Check out Gary's album that he produced with Sonny back in about 1995, I believe.
I don't even know if it's available anymore.
I will do some digging on that. Garry, you're putting yourself down. We're getting many comments from people that say that you're the coolest guy on the stage when you've got your glasses and you're just chilling out there. You're the coolest guy on stage. So you put yourself way down there on a totem pole, and that's not accurate.
Okay.
you're,
I'll keep that in mind.
Okay.
you're the silent assassin.
Yeah, silent assassin. Garry, my last question for you, and then we'll take a few from the people, is that is Jerry Sheff. Stan Goldstein's watching. He says that is Jerry. Thank you, Stan. Are there any artists? I always ask people this, like if you could go back in time, or if you could go back in a time machine and watch a band that you never got to see because they're not longer here or whatever. Is there any artists out there that you wish that had been able to play with, or that you'd wish to play with now, maybe that you had never played with?
I can't think of any. I mean, I've played with a lot of people. It's always fun. I don't really have my eyes on anything new.
Anybody from the past, like if you could go back in time, would it be Elvis, Buddy Holly? Like that was one question I wanted to ask you. Back when you were growing up, like what kind of music were you drawn to? Was it the same music that you like now with the rockabilly, Sun Studios, early Memphis stuff? What were you listening to that you remember when you were like growing up?
Well, I listened to anything that was rock and roll. I had an older brother who had records, and I listened to anything that came into the house. But yeah, I was big on Buddy Holly, Jerry Lee, Elvis, of course. All the early stuff I was way into.
Somebody asked when the three guys were on here, when Ozzy and Anthony and Curtis were on here, it surprised me that all three of their families and parents, they didn't try to hold them back. You know, a lot of times you hear about parents who were fighting with them. They didn't want to be musicians. Somebody asked here, how did your family feel about you getting into the music business and playing gigs and being a working musician?
Well, my father couldn't understand how stupid I can be, but because he could have got me a job at Ford in the union, get a union job, and didn't have to worry about a thing. But I figured I'd give the music a few 20 more years or so.
So I have a question actually for you. So going, knowing that where you played and where you started and in Jersey and all these bars and all these small places, and then recently getting to play Asbury Park on the beach with all those fans and See Here Now. What was that like for you? I mean, was that like a full circle thing? Was it something like you go back and say, I played this bar right down the street and now I'm playing the 50,000 people on the very beach that, I grew up on. What was the experience like for See Here Now?
Well, see here now, I was already prepared for that because I did during the More Like Me mini tour.
Mm-hmm.
I played Mrs. J's, not Mrs. J's, Stone Pony,
Mm-hmm.
and just remember pointing at Ricky DeSarno and pointing where the Hullabaloo Club used to be, knowing we'd come full circle.
Yeah, it was an amazing show. I know speaking with the other members, of the band, how it was surreal for them, just knowing where they came and what they were just doing. It was like it was we call it, for Springsteen fans and East Street Band fans, it's our Woodstock moment, It was just like Woodstock for us. You didn't care where you were sitting or standing or whatever it was. You just needed to be there to say you were at Asbury Park when Bruce and the E Street Band played the Asbury Park beach, and it was amazing. And the show was, you guys were clicking on all cylinders, and the set list was phenomenal, and it looked like you guys were having a blast up there. I mean, just taking it all in.
It was a good night, no
Yeah.
doubt about it.
Yeah. Let's see if we have anything else in there. Let's see. No.
Gary, maybe you can explain this to me as a non-musician, but I had the luxury and privilege of watching several shows over the last 2 years, and way more than I've seen ever before. And it seemed like every show, I would think to myself, they're operating at the highest level possible. They can't possibly get any better. And then the next show, I'm talking about musically, it was just better each time I saw a show. Is that just a matter of, musically speaking, is that just a matter of the repetitions? Is that, how would you explain that to somebody that's a non-musician?
I'm not sure what you're talking about. I think we call it luck.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Or we'll call it thank you for being so forgiving. It's live music, and I know that people would rather see us screw up than have us get it right. But we try to get it right.
Good question here, Gary. Barbie out in San Diego, she wants to know, what do you do to physically get prepared for playing well, fortunately for you and everybody else, he's dialed it back from 4 hours to 3 hours. But how do you get physically prepared to go out and play for 3 hours before each show?
I wish I could figure out how. If you found a way, let me know.
Whatever it is, keep doing it.
Jump in and hang on, I call it.
Here's a non-music question. It's actually a good question. How does it feel to be a grandpa?
Oh, that's a joy. I'm a grandpa twice now.
Oh.
It's great. It's the best job in the world.
How do you prepare for that?
You don't have to.
Good,
That's
see?
the best part of it. You just open up the wallet.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Gary, here's a good question for you. On Nashville, regarding Nashville. Oh, I wanted to ask you about John Prine. Somebody's asking, legit, what's the best music joint to walk into in Nashville and hear like legitimate good music?
I like the 5 spot. It's pretty funky little club on the east side, and we go to Third and Lindsley. We saw John
Pat.
Pat McLaughlin, John McLaughlin, somebody else. Pat McLaughlin the other night at Third and Lindsley. Great show there.
He played with John Point.
Mhm. So those tend to be my favorites.
Okay.
There's probably others
John
that
Prine,
I don't know about.
fair enough. So the 5 spot. Personally
spot.
near and dear to my heart is John Prine, who's like one of my all-time favorite musicians, songwriters. Just being in Nashville, did you have any kind of dealings with John, or did you know John at all?
Oh yeah, I knew John. Well, our kids went to the same school, so we usually wound up in the same ice cream parlor after school, and we shot snooker together occasionally.
Oh my God. Wow. He's just such a humble guy. I met him a few times. I saw his shows many times, but I met him a few times, and every time I saw an interview or heard him doing an interview, he's just a very humble, gracious man, very kind, very generous, just filled with generosity towards everybody. So it broke my heart when he passed away.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, we miss him. Miss him around here, that's for sure.
Howie, you seen anything else good?
I don't see
No,
anything.
no questions from
Just
the audience.
No, we got a lot of well, the obvious one of the obvious questions we never touched on, but we'll ask it now because she deserves it. Do you remember Nikki back in the day in the 70s when she was taking those photos?
Was that a question of me?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, like when
okay.
Nikki would take those.
Do I remember?
Yeah, do you remember?
Nikki? Yeah, of course I remember her.
And then
Of course.
what's your side of the story? Now this
My
whole
side of the story is I let her take my picture.
and she made
Stole
it.
my soul. Is that the Native Americans
Well,
say?
yeah, you made the right choice. So good, good.
Gary, the
Well, the
fact
book's fun.
that, yeah, the book is phenomenal. Springsteen at Liberty Hall, fantastic book. But Nikki has told me the story a few times. I just find it phenomenal that you guys first met in 1973, 4, Nikki can kill me. And now you fast forward 3 decades later and somehow you guys cross paths magically and here you are.
Magically.
Are you excited to go back on tour? Huh?
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm trying to get myself prepared for it.
All right. Well,
The calm before the storm here.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I know, all the fans have major withdrawal and they're chomping at the bit. And, I know a lot of people from the United States are traveling to Europe to see these shows as well. And I know the Europeans are always as rabid as usual. So it should be, one hell of a time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I have a question.
Yes, Nikki
How do you
Germain.
feel about playing Sense Hero?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to San Siro. It's always been a fun gig. Of course, they're all fun, so it'll
Is there?
also be very, very sad because that'll be the last show
Yeah.
for a while anyway.
Ooh,
For
Gary, that's a question somebody asked. I don't know, I'll just say I got an opportunity to ask Max this one time. I said, "Do you ever go and just like play drums for fun, like on your off time?" And he says, "Absolutely not. That's what I get paid to do. That's not what I'm doing for fun." Do you play much at home? Like, do you enjoy just playing by yourself? Do you just enjoy playing with a band? What do you do at home with the bass? Anything?
Well, I have to practice every once in a while just to keep my fingers in shape. And also, I was preparing for the record release of Mike Delavante's record. So I needed to learn that whole album. So I spent a couple weeks just woodshedding and learning and all that. Other than that, I try to, I'm afraid I don't sit around practicing nearly enough. I know that.
Oh, somebody's asking, do you have a particular warm-up routine before, and she's a musician, this lady, she's a music teacher. Do you have a warm-up routine that you do before shows?
Another thing I should have, but I don't. I figure if you're not warmed up in first half hour, you're not going to get warmed up.
So after the tour is done in July, is Mike Delvante going to do any shows around the album? Is he going to do a tour at all? The
I don't know.
Delvante is doing anything?
I don't know what he's planning on doing. That was it for now, I think. But you have to check with him on
Well,
that.
Okay.
What about you? You think you'll write some solo stuff again?
No, I'm done with
You're
that.
done with that. Okay.
I've been there, done that.
All right, then
Let's
work on the book.
Yes.
There you go.
You got many people asking for you to see the book, Garry. So you
Single, maybe a single.
Maybe.
They didn't hear that. I said, well,
You said that.
I said a single.
I'm not making any promises.
A single.
I'm not promising anything.
Nikki, it sounds like Nikki, have you ever written lyrics? It sounds like maybe you've written a song that you want Garry to play on.
No.
I tried to convince her to, but she wouldn't do it.
That's the one thing you haven't dipped your toe into, Nikki. You've done everything else in the world. You've had 9 lives. You need to start dipping your toe into the
No.
songwriting pool.
I don't write. I take pictures.
And very good pictures at that.
Yes,
Thank you.
for sure.
Yes, Nikki will be over in Europe. She's doing what, 4 or 5 book signings? Milan, Berlin.
I think it's now 5, could wind up being 6. There's a possibility that in addition to Manchester, we might do something in Liverpool. You'd have to ask Philip Jump at Badlands, UK, that question. He's the first to do the book signs on the schedule and the last one to organize it. So I don't know, but got Liverpool, San Sebastian is going to be there. We're going to have San Sebastian and Berlin, Prague, and Milan.
For anybody overseas watching this now or watching this later, which you can do later after we're done, Tom McCormick has all kinds of posts, and Nikki does as well, about her book signings overseas this summer.
He's my PR guy.
He is. He's well worth it. He's well worth it, which is nothing. He gets paid nothing, and he's good at it.
Yeah, he gets a little comp now and then.
Not that he asked for it. Tom is a very humble,
No,
generous,
he doesn't
kind man.
ask. That's for sure. He never asked. That's right. Yeah, and I think my other half will probably be at those book signings because I asked him to.
I was gonna say, does he have a choice? Like, if you're going, he has to go, right?
He has a choice. He has a choice.
But he's choosing to be with you. That's his choice. He's choosing to be with you.
We like being together. We like it.
If anybody's interested, you can order a book from Nikki. Nikki, throw out your email again.
Hey, for anybody, I'm not going on camera, so I'm just saying,
I know.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay. For anybody going to those book signings in Europe, really smart idea to pre-order from the bookstores because they have a very limited number of books and there are no more books in Europe available for them to order. So that's it. The rest of the books will all be in the US. So if they want a book in Europe signed at the bookstore, or even if you can't make it to the book signing, order it, we'll sign it, and it'll get sent to you. In Europe. You don't
After
want
that, no more books in
shipped
Europe,
overseas.
only in the United States.
Yeah, the rest of the books will all be in the United States, and eventually we'll have a book signing or two down the road in the US. I don't know when the first time it will be. There is a big, there's going to be something for the 50th anniversary of Born to Run. So that's coming up in September.
Yeah,
There may
that's
be
going to be at Mom.
There may be something around that.
Yeah.
There may be something around that. Maybe at the pop-up store or something.
Oh, very cool.
Yes. For those of you watching at home, there will be a symposium for Born to Run 50th, the weekend of September 5th, 6th, and 7th. So maybe Nikki will have something that weekend.
Yeah, there'll be something special that the archives will put together, I'm sure.
Okay.
All right. Well, Garry, Mr. Tallent, Garry. Oh, Garry, can I ask you, what does the W stand for?
Without.
That's rough.
Oh my God. Good enough. That's a good way to end it. That's a perfect way to end
You ever
it.
think
So,
of maybe after the tour you could do like stand-up comedy? You know, that well,
Thanks for having me on.
listen, Garry, really, all
Yes.
kidding aside, thank you for coming on. It was a real honor and pleasure. Thank you, Nikki and Ryan, for setting this up, and you know, we wish you luck and success on the tour. Enjoy yourself, take it all in, and hopefully it won't be too long of a break, and you know, until we see you guys again. But only the best of everything for you and Nikki.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
thanks, Garry. Thanks, Nikki. Have a good night.
All right, good night, guys.
Good
Thanks for
night.
joining us.
I'm not sure how.
I got it. Well, there we go. That was it. That's all she wrote. Thank you, Garry Tallent. Thank you, Mrs. Nikki Germain. Thank you for everybody that was viewing and watching with us. Trying to see if I can see the comments here. Tiger Rose.
Dressed up in my collar,
My Tiger Rose. Yes, that is DJ Fontana, who's Elvis's original drummer. Gary's over there. I don't know who that guy is. It's so funny. That's Sonny Burgess. Barbie, he said he doesn't have a warm-up routine.
grabbing my robe and we wrestled across the floor. You are independent, all of the soul and soul. But I wasn't leaving everything I would love to go. Love disappears so quickly.
When it goes, it goes. Oh, my Tiger Rose. My Tiger Rose. Hey.
Thank you.
Hey.
The Sonny Rhythm section.
I wanted to show Peter Frampton doing Dwayne Eddy. No!
This is my end of hope.
Where did it go? I had it earlier. Peter Frampton, Dwayne Eddy. There it is. Claudia, thank you for joining. Marge, thank you. Peter Frampton had great hair back in the day. You and the hair, Ham. You and the hair. Still my guitar gently weeps. While my guitar gently weeps. Emily from Minnesota, have a good night. Still my guitar. Hambone, have a good night. See you tomorrow. Bedtime for Bonzo. Weisberger, take it easy. I'll see you later. Good night, Carol. Dave, nice job with questions for Garry. Lots of interesting tidbits. Yes. He got paid 20 cents, which is $20. Little Melvin. Moment of truth. Good night, Gene Darragona. Ciao. Arrivederci. Arrivederci. Liz Tayeb, have a good night. All right, I am out of here. Carrie Clancy Walton. That's enough nonsense for me for tonight. I'll be back on with some more nonsense tomorrow morning. Stop in and check it out. Panda Stream and WRGH Radio. All right. No, I don't want to go. Irina. Irina, I was on this morning. I'm on tonight. I'll be on tomorrow morning. I'm sorry. Can only take so much. Irina. We want more. We want more. We want more. Mm-hmm. Marge. Oh, thank you. Well, I could show you my wall. Let's see. I got Bruce and the band over there. I got Bruce at Danny Clinch's gallery. Leon Bridges, Elvis, Bruce in his dressing room. I got the triple Elvis. I got Elvis. I got Leon Bridges. I got Bruce and Steve Earle, John Mellencamp, Bruce, Johnny, Miles. I got the Beatles hiding over there. I got John Prine over there. Fine, fine, Irina. Have it your way. Have it your way, Irina. Hello from Perth, Australia. Hello, Viola from Perth, Australia. This will be over shortly, and you can go and watch the whole thing after I am done yakking, and Howie will pull this down and put it on YouTube for you to watch at any given time at some later point in time. You are welcome, Marge. It's my music wall. I spent a lifetime collecting and framing and hanging. Marge, I will show you one other thing, and then I am going to close this out. This is my John Prine wall. That's John Prine's last photo album, or his last album, photographed by Danny Clinch. This is John later in life. John's single, I Remember Everything. I got John Lennon, Marvin, and Elvis in stamps. And this is one of my prized possessions. You can't really see it well, but this is all Sharpie artwork, pointillism, done by a friend of mine who I know. He does this for a living. He's an artist, but it's all Sharpie marker points. He did that on his own. Oh, and I got a couple other things over here. I got Elvis the Searcher. I got Steve Earle autograph. I got Chuck. Those are two other pieces that Justin did. He uses Sharpies and he does pointillism. All right, I am out. Have a great day. After I'm done with this, you can go back and watch this at any given time. Have a great evening, morning, wherever you are, whoever you are. Thank you for joining us. Have a great evening.